Master, could you tell us about gratitude? What is it? This is one of humans' best qualities. There's a lot of divine qualities in a person. But first, let's focus on the word blagodarju. That's Russian for I am thankful. It consists of two words. That's blago, benefit, betterment, blessing, and darju, I give a gift. So the meaning of the whole word is, I'm giving you a gift of goodness and blessings. Now, grammatical collocations of the whole word have slightly changed. Both parts of the word preserved their meaning, so the original meaning of the whole word is to give a gift of goodness and blessings. What sort of goodness can we give? What kind of inherent or developed qualities should a person hold to be able to share them with other people? Usually, we give others material things as gifts, different objects, or money. But actually, everything is energy. If you give energy, the best energy to give is spiritual power. This is the highest goodness you possess. In other words, you share your spiritual substance with other people. You share your heart, your love, and the power of compassion. This is the highest goodness. Dalai Lama XIV and Karmapa XVII, who represent all the Buddhas of this world, they say that it's necessary to bring good to the world. All the teachers and masters say so. Sathya Sai Baba also says that there should be goodness in the world. This is a call for us. As a matter of fact, we possess this quality. We possess the power of love and gratitude. And it creates goodness in the environment we are living in. Our universe is our life. If all the universe is pervaded with gratitude, then the universe, which is a divine aspect, will manifest itself in the world as bliss. If a person lives in love and goodness, his karma will dissolve. So virtuous mind is the best gift. Yoga practice is the way to purify the mind. If a person is ignorant and ungentle, but someone says to him that he must love the world, he can't love because love is hidden very deep within him and his mind is not ready to love. Mind can't love at all. It can only compare, assess, and make judgments. First, this person should purify his mind. To do that, it's necessary to make an effort. Why should we purify our minds? To make the mind fall into the heart. Then you'll enter a new state which can be called buddhi. Buddhi is divine intellect, which is controlled by the heart, i.e., by the spiritual principle of a person. Then you'll experience the feeling of blissfulness. If you pray, meditate, and practice sadhana, you should experience a sensation of gratitude. Because you've been given such an opportunity. In a certain sense, this is an element of love, of spiritual power, an element of our nature which can be shared with the Creator, who gave us an opportunity to understand. To express gratitude means to be in the state of acceptance. To express gratitude means to have a sensation of joy and ecstasy in the body. The sensation that appears as a result of your spiritual practicing. Remember this. Remind yourself of this all the time to awaken this feeling. That is the most primitive and simple way to explain what gratitude is. It's extremely important to feel gratitude. It's an experience, a body experience of the feeling. It creates certain sensations and includes the work of the hormonal sphere. Certain types of hormones are activated. Then you feel joy just because you are, just because you have something to eat. You feel joy because you can understand. You feel joy associated with anything possible. You associate your joy with everything that uplifts you to the level of bliss. Actually, true gratitude is the principle of perceptual unity with one who is everything in everything. This is a very deep form of oneness, an extremely subtle perception. To get such a perception, you should have a clean mind. Besides, your heart should be open. For this to happen, you should learn to do a few very simple things. To keep your mind and your body temple clean to avoid any distortions. To be always aware of the fact that everyone is a masterpiece of the Creator. Moreover, we should be grateful for the possibility of understanding all of this. With the help of this small but a very important principle, we'll be able to reach great purposes. This simple, continuous remembrance, together with the continuous feeling of gratitude to the one who is living and breathing within us, will help us to rise very high. We're talking about duality for now. People don't know anything about Advaita yet. People are in the state of duality, I and the Creator. I'm seeking that joy, that happiness, which I call God. I'm grateful to God that He lives within me. One simple breath, breathing in and breathing out, is very short. But this short period of time includes a great number of processes inside the body, which are closely connected with a person's life. If one of these processes will be changed, one's life could come to a full stop. But we don't even think of breathing. We don't even remember of gratitude, which we could express to the Creator who is living within us. He is meditating over the whole world. He creates correct, blissful community. I'm not talking now about emergencies. I'm talking about the world in general. It's necessary to be grateful to God for this. The extent to which you can understand the principle of gratitude depends on your level of consciousness, on the purity of your intentions, and on the degree of your heart openness. That's what gratitude is about. Russian благодарность, giving goodness and blessings. You share goodness and blessings with the world. Then goodness, well-being, and the goodness of your presence will fill the space of your own universe. You'll become a bright spark in this world. Master, could you tell us how one can bring gratitude into his or her life? To whom should we be thankful and what for? If you don't know who the Creator is, be thankful to yourself. There's an unusual saying which goes against religious doctrines, but works well. If you don't believe in God, begin to believe in yourself. Then through the belief in yourself, you'll know who God is. Anyway, all roads lead to Him, and finally, to yourself. Because the very I am is that which is everything in everything. But if you still don't understand that, there is He and there are you. There are such people as yet. Then you can believe in yourself. Develop such qualities as confidence and steadiness. Nurture these qualities in yourself. Be grateful to yourself that you are trying to achieve something. That's fine. Soon some events that'll take place in your life will give you an idea of someone who helps you. As a first step, this will be enough. Is there any difference between gratitude and kindness? In my understanding, I'm judging from my own experience, kindness is a state of heart. which is capable of giving. Kindness is an ability to do all your best for people without charging for it, without waiting for any payback of equal worth. So kindness is an ability to give something away. If you possess such a quality, you constantly serve to this world, or take care of your loved ones and of yourself. You do it both in your mind and in actions. Can kindness and gratitude help one to achieve his or her goals? Sure thing. When you are enjoying this state, you stop emanating aggression, and your karma changes. The karma itself remains, but becomes less tough and negative. In fact, you melt your karma down with the help of love, which is expressed as kindness and gratitude, as serving and compassion. All of them are the elements of love. Actually, you turn everything into light. But there is one important point here. Master Jesus said, "I have not come to bring peace but a sword," Matthew 10:34. What does that mean? Wasn't Jesus absolutely loving? Didn't he bring goodness to the world? Yes, he did. What does sword mean here? A lot of people take these words too literally, but sword is a symbol of spirit. Usually people think that spirit, or God, should bring them sweet feelings. But sometimes spirit can bring them rather painful experiences. Goodness can be wielding, so that a person could awake. He should be awakened. And this is sometimes painful, but it is an aspect of goodness. It is an aspect of love. Is it possible to harmonize our relationships with people through gratitude and kindness? I mean, a family and close ones. It is necessary to do so. Very often people don't understand each other, which leads to conflicts and tensions. It is especially bad if such conflicts appear in a family, between parents and children. Between parents themselves, doesn't matter. You often face such situations. Someone can come to me and say that his close one doesn't love him and behaves badly. What can I do in this situation, he asks. I usually say, show compassion to your close one, as he or she can't control themselves. You are stronger at this moment because you're asking what you should do. You keep options open. Your close one has choice too, but doesn't know anything about this choice. So he or she is acting destructively. He or she doesn't have enough strength. He doesn't have enough spiritual power of understanding to behave in a different way and be stronger. Show empathy to him or her. Start doing good because nobody knows how much you owe to God. We must do good. The more good you do, the better. If your close one behaves badly, but you do good to him or her, you'll finally win. I don't say about usual victory, I mean spiritual victory. You'll win a victory and rise above the situation. At least you'll win yourself. It's extremely important. The more good you do, the more structured your life becomes. There's one more important point here. If you do good in reply to someone's bad conduct, you rise above your own ego. This is a spiritual practice, so you should rise above the situation. When it's necessary to be silent, keep silent. If you know what to say but don't say it because you have more strength, you are doing good. In Sufism, there is a good rule. Even if you know that someone isn't right, you point that out in a way that does not cause new problems and disharmony. But you should try to harmonize everything. Because this life is full of aggression. You just hold a match to something and it flames up. Tension is growing in this world nowadays, so people should love good things and be kind. By the way, this is the idea of Christianity, but not only of Christianity. There are such ideas everywhere. One might as well say that this is a Vedic idea, the idea of yoga. When you pour the fire of aggression with the water of love, everything is being harmonized. What personal qualities should one nurture, and what actions should be taken to become a happy person, to be able to demonstrate gratitude? It's necessary to get rid of intoxication, both body poisoning and informational one. You should stop watching videos that destroy your neurons. You should learn to love the state which is beyond the outside world. First, you should grow to love this state, and then after that, it will come to love you. And since then, you'll never want to come out of this state. Then you'll be able to watch whatever you like. It won't influence you because you'll see the truth beyond everything. How can one understand before watching something what is bad and what is good for him or her? You don't need to understand anything. Just dismiss all of it. Drop everything. There's nothing to watch except what is really clear and understandable. These are ancient scriptures, spiritual films, communication with the right and spiritual people. Don't waste your time, as I said at the beginning. You will never keep up with this world because it is very changeable and mobile. This world doesn't belong to itself, and you don't belong to this world. Master Jesus said, "Become passers-by," Gospel of Thomas, saying 42. What does this mean? It means that we shouldn't be attached to anything. Television and other mass media have become extremely aggressive. Social networks which you use have also become aggressive. Everything you watch changes you. You rewrite your neurons through the videos you watch. You won't be able to clean your mind through WhatsApp. Do you mean that we have a chance to get rid of all information which we get from different sources? Yes, you can do it through understanding. What is the use of all of that? WhatsApp has been existing for at least 10 years. Has it brought any considerate positive results on a large scale? You can say yes, because you can justify whatever you like. Television can also be justified. In the 40s, 50s, when television appeared, Sathya Sai Baba said, "Since television appeared, degradation of people has been gaining pace." If you lived in the 90s, you can remember that there weren't any mobiles. People visited each other and really socialized. Now people rarely talk while meeting each other because they don't have any topics to discuss. Everyone is in WhatsApp. Someone is calling. "I'm sorry, I have to answer the call now." What was the life like in the past? I'm not asking you to go back to prehistoric life, but in a way, it wouldn't be that bad. Those times were very advanced spiritually, technologically, not technocratically, but spiritually, bioenergetically developed times. Now we're being told that the ancients were people with big sticks. No, that's not true. This never happened. We haven't evolved from monkeys. That's understandable. It was clear to Darwin that we were not apes. It was just a concept in the form of an order. If you want to get rid of such information, you should differentiate between various types of information that come into your head, and as a result, change your blood. Where is the goodness? It was simply replaced by dirty blood, intoxication, and poisoned brain. One can't do good being in such a negative state. He feels bad. He can't love if he doesn't love himself. Go through understanding. There's a good film, God in Neurons. This knowledge belongs to yoga. Scientists now are talking about the same ideas as yogis say. But unfortunately, scientists don't practice them. They carry out experiments on something or someone and make their conclusions. Thankfully, their conclusions are good. In the film God and Neurons, the authors talk about the reflectance of neurons. A person can form his or her neurons, rewrite, or even kill them. Watch the film and make your own conclusions. As from now, stop doing things that make you go below the present stage of evolution. That is to say, lead you to regressive evolution. Don't do that. Develop your consciousness into cosmic consciousness. This is what Master Jesus, Babaji, and Sathya Sai wanted you to do. This is what all the famous masters, real masters, are talking about. I don't mean those masters who try to attract people with doubtful ideas and make hollow promises. No, I mean those practicing masters who are talking about something you really need. I'm no ways talking now about myself. There are lots of good and famous masters. They are famous not within the broader population, but mostly among people who understand the phenomenon of a master. Learn to differentiate. How can you identify a real master? You should feel and listen to your heart. You have mind. God has given you understanding. Make your conclusions, but don't make definitive conclusions because everything changes. Except understanding. God has given you intuition. If your intuition and understanding are one whole, you'll never get into mischief and never fail. If you have to commit a sin under some compulsion, you'll do it consciously to the maximum, and this way it won't be a sin. I don't encourage you to commit sins. However, sometimes you have to act sinfully under some compulsion. You don't want to act in this way because such action will go against your principles. And yet you have to, if you are aware of what you are doing. You, as a warrior of light, will accept the responsibility. In this case, the karmic consequences of your action won't be as severe as they could be if you acted in fear or under the influence of attachment. You know that you bear the blame and will be punished. But a warrior never regrets. He is moving towards his goal. It's a difficult task for him, but he always feels that he is helped. So your task is to be aware of everything and fear nothing. Learn to develop your awareness. To do that, you should clean your mind, clean your consciousness. We've already talked about that.